Hello students, hope you all are well at home and studying properly. Now today we are here to continue the second lesson of history. The first part of this lesson we have already done. Now this is the time for the second lesson, that is from trade to territory. Fine, so please take out your books and open up to the second lesson. So in this lesson video we are going to study about the conquest of Bengal. As in the previous video, we have already studied how the European countries came to India for trading, and we studied about Portuguese, the Dutch, the French, and then we started to study the British. Fine. So, we have discussed that when British started trading, they started to make forts, and because of that, there were the Nawabs who were against this action of the British. East India Company started their trade in India from the Hooghly river, that is the bank of the Hooghly river, and from there they started their trade. Fine. So what they did to trade, to get settled over there, they started to make the forts over there, and this making of forts was against the wish of the Nawabs. So the local Nawabs started to raise their voice against this making of forts, which gave rise to many wars. Fine. So the first war which we are going to study is the Battle of Plassey. Fine. So the Battle of Plassey took place in Bengal between the Nawab Siraj-ud-Daulah and the East India Company. Why did it happen? Because the East India Company were not following the things which they should follow. The first reason of Battle of Plassey was the overruling of the rural Farman. The earlier Nawab gave them the right to do their trade without the payment of the taxes and excise duties, but what the Britishers started to do, they started to do their private trade without paying the taxes to the Nawabs. So this was the first reason. Then second reason which gave rise to the battle was the fortification. That means making of the forts and settling down in Bengal. This gave rise to the Battle of Plassey, because they were asked not to make the forts by the Nawab, but they were most important was the disrespecting of the Nawabs. They were disrespecting the Nawabs by sending the disrespectful letters to them, and by not following what they were asked to follow by the Nawabs, by not accepting the rules of the Nawabs, they were disrespecting them, and that was the reason again which gave rise to the Battle of Plassey. And then Nawab Siraj-ud-Daulah sent his armies to end up their fortification, to capture the Britishers and the East India Company members, and to end up their trade. Fine. He was also successful in doing so. But then what happened? The Britishers asked the help from the other parts, and then the army of Britain came with the heading of Lord Clive. That means Lord Clive headed the army, and the army which was headed by Lord Clive, what they started to do, they started the conspiracy of joining the other people from the Nawab side, so that they could easily win the battle. Fine. So what happened? They entered into the conspiracy with Mir Jafar, who was the commander-in-chief of the Nawab. Fine. And with the help of him, he started to get into the battle. And what he said, that Lord Clive said that if he will support him, he will support the British army, he will support the East India Company, then after winning the battle, Mir Jafar will given the post of Nawab, and he will be made as the Nawab. Fine. So Mir Jafar agreed the agreement, and what happened, he supported the Britain army, that means the East India Company, and then finally the Lord Clive won the battle and Sirajud-Dowla, the Nawab, was captured and then finally was killed. So this was done. So with this, Battle of Plassey came to an end and Mir Jafar was made the Nawab, and he, after becoming the Nawab, was just the puppet in the hands of the Britain. Fine. So this gave them the way to move further for trading in India, and then the Battle of Buxar happened. So although the British wanted, the East India Company wanted to trade in India, but what they started to do, they started to do the fortification in India, which was not. So Mir Jafar was the puppet in the hands of the East India Company, but his successor, the son-in-law of Mir Jafar, Mir Qasim, was against the East India Company. He realized that the East India Company was not just trading, but they were also fortifying their places, fortifying in their places. They were making the forts in their places. So he was against this, and with the help of other Nawabs, he brought up his army to fight with the East India Company. Fine. But the Battle of Buxar, that means the Battle of Buxar that took place in 1764, was the battle between the Battle of Buxar took place, and in this battle Mir Qasim was defeated and killed, and then again Mir Jafar was reinstated and brought as the Nawab in Bengal. With this end of the battle, with the end of this battle, the East India Company realized that if they are just going to trade in India, then they will be in shortage of money for their armies, for these fights that are going on, for the rivalry. Realized that to get their armies better, they need much more money, and for that they need to do the administrative work also. Fine. So this is not going to help them just by trading in India, but they have to capture the territories so that they could get the money to flourish themselves, to make themselves much more stronger, and to make their armies stronger. Fine. So what they started, now they came up with the different policies, different things, so that they could do the administration in India. Fine. So now our next topic in the same sequence is the dual government. Now since the British, the East India Company, now they just not want to trade, but they also want the administrative powers. So what they did, they started the two government in the Indian states. The part of the governance from which they could get the money, that means the armies, the control of the armies, the control of the taxes, the duties, these parts were given to the East India Company, and the other local things which could be managed by the Nawabs were given to them. Fine. So that all the taxes directly go to the East India Company, and other things have to be managed by the Nawabs. They were not going to get into the local issues or local problems of the people. Fine. So this was done by the East India Company so that they could earn money, so that they could get money for their armies and to get more profits in their trade. Fine. Now, next is the subsidiary alliance. Wellesley was following the policy of expansion of British rule in India. Fine. So for this, he started to make the alliance or the bond so that he could administrate the Indian states. Fine. So what was the subsidiary alliance? What were the points which the people or the states have to follow who were getting into alliance. The first thing was that those states which are getting into alliance or which were in bond have to follow the rules of the East India Company. That means to say that they have to accept them as their head. That means to say they will be the paramount. Fine. Next thing, they will support the East India Company's army. Fine. That means the armies of the East India Company will be supported by the Indian states who are in alliance with this East India Company. Fine. Next, the Indian states are not going to do any agreement from the other Indian states. Fine. Next, that the Indian is in the Indian states. Next, in Indian state, those were in alliance. In those states, there will be some persons, some people of the East India Company to look after the states taxes and to take the revenues. Fine. And the last one is that in the alliance they promise to help the Indian states if there is any external wars or if there is any external attack. Fine. So this was the alliance, this was the bond which the Indian states had to follow in getting into the alliance. Fine. Now, what were the advantages of this alliance to the Britishers? The East India Company was in great advantage with this subsidiary alliance. Why? Because from this they were getting support for their armies, they were getting place to stay for their fortifications, they were getting taxes also, and they were getting the support of the Nawabs. Fine. So in all the way they were in advantage. And what were the disadvantage of the Indian people or the Indian Nawabs or the Indian states? The people of India had to suffer. Why? Because their freedom have been taken away. They could not take any decisions of their own. They could not do any sort of agreement. They have to pay to their armies or the East India Companies, and they have to look after them, and they have to be under them. They have to be under their rule. So these were the disadvantages which the Indian states were facing because of the subsidiary alliance. And the Britain were the East India Company, they were just making the benefits from this subsidiary alliance, and they were expanding their trade as well as they were capturing the Indian territories. Fine. So this was all for this particular video. We will meet in the next class. Till then, revise properly. Thank you.